if you're someone that does watch the news, Donald Trump is literally been proven to
Yeah.
actually be represent over 40% of all news
Yeah.
that is broadcasted.
Yeah.
Like, can we just talk about how absolutely insane that is, regardless of if you like or hate Donald Trump?
Yeah. You're consuming 40% of
Yeah,
what you consume
yeah,
for news
yeah,
is dominated by one individual.
yeah. Is culture losing its cohesion, and what does that mean for identity and ambition? Today on Tiny Sofa Sessions, episode 3, we're going to dive right into that. Jenny.
Yes. Short answer, yes. I do believe it is losing its identity. I think we are losing our cohesion, and because of that, we are losing ambition and identity.
Mhm.
Um, I think we used to be human beings are communal by nature, right? Like we need each other in order to survive if you look back historically.
Yeah,
And I think even just a decade ago, we were a much more communal group of people. And everybody you saw in your friend group probably didn't think, act, and feel exactly like you. I don't
yeah,
know about you, but for me, for sure, right? You had one friend who looked like this, one friend who looked like that, one friend who was crazy into this thing, another who was crazy into that thing. And I think over time, the last maybe 6, 7 years, we've sort of seen this decay of the communality into a little bit more of this dystopian isolation.
mm,
And obviously, we recognize that certain events of the last 5 years caused us to be in this sort of isolation situation.
yeah,
Um, but I think because of that, we turned to social media and we started to create these communities there. And then we turned to AI, which started to create communities for us. And now I think we're kind of in this place where we're just not too sure.
yeah, yeah, you're right. I think there's been a lot of positives actually about the micro communities that we have now.
Sure.
Finding people that align with your specific interest is great because
Of course.
now we have better resources for that. But by losing the community aspect of it on a larger scale, we're losing connection with other voices.
Hmm.
And that's also really important just for your ability to be able to handle, differing opinions from
Yeah.
yours. Because
Yeah.
we're not always right, and we're not always,
No.
the only way to see things.
Yeah.
And I think by kind of losing that aspect of a larger community, as in like your local human community, that's really affecting people in a very negative way.
Totally agree with you. I mean, there are definitely pros and cons to both. Like you said, I think having an online group of people who have much more microcosm shared interest to you can be really great because you can
Absolutely.
learn from people who are educated or succeeding within that space.
Yes.
So for me in my coaching space, I belong to a group with 30 other coaches. So I learn from them, they learn from me. We bring client questions to each other, we challenge each other. That's been fantastic for all of our growth.
Absolutely.
But to say within that, although we're aligned, we are also different people. And
Hmm.
so there is still that differing of opinions. I think the important thing to remember is that we don't live online. As
Yeah.
much as we live online, we don't live online. We have to live human lives. So we have to
Yes.
go to the grocery store, we have to get gas, we need to go to jobs, we have to interact with other people in society.
Yeah.
And when you create this world where you just block and delete anything that doesn't directly align with the way you think, act, and feel, you create a circumstance where society becomes a challenge for you.
Yeah.
So, going to work, interacting with other parents at the playground, making new friends, going out in groups of people with your friends, and maybe meeting new people within that group. You can never guarantee in any social situation that everyone is going to think and act exactly like you, and you can't block and delete in real life,
Well, that's it. Yeah.
right?
And they actually did a study about that actually showed that each generation continuing on actually is getting less and less good at handling confrontation and actually
Hmm.
different opinions,
Hmm.
exactly because of that reason.
Hmm.
Because technology and just everything that we're exposed to has like segmented us so much into the things that we like, which is nice in that one way, but also is making us incapable of like kind of hearing these other opinions. And I was reading an article called Brain Rot Summer by Amanda Hoover at Business Insider, and she kind of summarized it best. She's like, should we be concerned that it's August and the only song that we have in common is the Jet 2 holiday song?
Nothing
Right?
beats a
There's been
Jet
no
2
like kind of like
holiday.
unifying thing of summer that really brings everyone together.
Hmm.
And that's really in part due, and largely in part due to the fact that we're all in our own little bubbles
Yeah.
of content.
Well, I mean, if you think about it right now, like think about social media, and I want anybody who's watching this video to think about it. You think of Jet 2 Holiday,
Yeah,
and then you think of I have one daughter, right?
I don't know
You
that one.
haven't seen this one?
No.
Okay, so it's they use the audio of like a Tinder conversation
Okay.
where a guy asks a girl, "Do you have any kids?"
Oh,
And she
okay.
says, "Yes, I have one daughter." And he's like,
Oh.
"How many baby daddies do you have?" And she's like, "I have one daughter."
Yeah.
And people are using this now as an overlay to
Okay.
explain stupid questions that they get asked, right? So, and I think that's basically been like the music of the summer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Which is
exactly.
just, I mean, I can think back to even, I'm aging myself here, but I'm going to think back, and I was young. Let's not say I was like 40 at this time, but like Dance Mix 95. I can
Yeah.
still name half of the songs on that. I had a Discman and rollerblades, and that was like I was a kid, but
Yeah.
like that was my summer vibe.
Yeah.
And I did it with my friends, and it was super fun. And now you're kind of thinking like, can kids even go to like a pool party? Like, I mean, teenagers, not little kids, but like, can a teenager go to a pool party and like interact with other teenagers from other schools now without all being on their phones, without all streaming it live or creating content about the event?
I don't know.
I'm intrigued. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of this like brain rot summer, as this article
Yeah.
said, is I think we've really created this like weird society where I think people really feel this need to reconnect.
Yes.
Um,
I think so
I
too.
definitely am seeing like a decrease in a lot of my clients talking about like Tinder. I keep throwing Tinder under the bus. Sorry, Tinder, we love you, but like, you know, these swipe apps, and starting to be like, because I work in the life coaching space,
Mm.
people are coming to me in their 20s and their 30s saying like, how do I reconnect?
Yeah.
How do I approach somebody at the bar?
Yeah.
How do I ask someone on a date? And these are now very complex questions for people who are in their 20s, 30s, and sometimes 40s that I'm working with,
Yeah.
that not only are we often working on like habit building and discipline and the things you think a life coach works on,
Yeah.
I'm ending up a lot in the relationship space,
Mm.
and I'm finding it very much because we're so online where it's easy to type, but would you say those things to a person face to face? Do you have the courage to
Mm.
say what you say online to somebody in person?
Yeah.
And that's an intriguing thing for me because like you said, I think people are, and I don't mean even confrontationally, I mean the random sexualized things people say, I mean the aggressive things people say, I mean even the kind things people say. The men who randomly message me on Instagram, would you have the courage to walk up and say hi to me on the street?
Yeah.
I would love to talk to a stranger. I love people,
Yeah.
but I think that that sort of loses its humanity when we're in person.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, me in the recovery space,
Yeah.
in the sobriety space, I actually am seeing actually a lot of that. So people are looking to reconnect and to kind of get away from the online world.
Hmm.
So in a lot of like the sober events that they do, it's also no phones, just
Right.
really like real events, interacting with people and just like doing the work like in person to actually
Yeah.
reconnect like that. So that I actually find that pretty nice because it's like you go to a concert nowadays and like what do you see? It's just phones.
Or all you see is like this Coldplay event with this couple holding each other, right? And
Yeah.
like that's been the event of the summer, is
Yeah.
like this big scandal. Do you know how many people have affairs? Like, does nobody remember the whole like incident with, I can't remember the name of that, Ashley Madison, the
Mm,
Ashley Madison scandal, right? Like,
yeah,
this is people having affairs in their workplaces and CEOs is not new news.
yeah,
But I feel like 2025 is so starved for a thing,
yeah,
for a trend, that literally this couple having this affair
yeah.
became like the focus of the world.
Which is pretty sad, actually.
This is so
It's a
sad.
sad state of affairs.
It's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah. And I think, if you're someone that follows the news, I've kind of go back and forth. I have mixed opinions about it. I want to be informed, but I'm also finding that it's very depressing to be informed.
Sure.
So,
Yep. Once you're
so
informed, you can't go back.
yeah, so I kind of go back and forth about, how much I want to consume of that. But if you're someone that does watch the news, Donald Trump is literally been proven to
Yeah.
actually be represent over 40% of all news
Yeah.
that is broadcasted.
Yeah.
Like, can we just talk about how absolutely insane that is, regardless of if you like or hate Donald Trump?
Yeah. You're consuming 40% of
Yeah,
what you consume
yeah,
for news
yeah,
is dominated by one individual.
yeah. Like, talk about sucking the air out of the room.
Yeah.
Like, for sure, of course, there's no time to actually find something that like brings us all together when they actually still have 50% of real news to
Well,
actually
it's
talk about.
literally like watching The Apprentice again. Like,
Yeah.
and again, it's whether you love or you hate
You're
Donald Trump.
fired.
Like, yeah, if you love or hate Donald Trump, it doesn't matter
It doesn't
either
matter.
way,
No.
because for a single individual to be dominating 40% of like the news space, and recognizing that obviously we know the news is skewed one way or the other, but like
Mhm.
whichever way it's being skewed, it's still being skewed with the focus on the same individual,
Which is insane. Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah.
Because generally and historically, you would see one end of media would focus more on certain political parties or
Yeah.
certain events. Another end of the media would focus on others
Sure.
because they're serving their communities and their communities' interests. But right now, no
Yeah.
matter where you are on that scale,
Yeah.
that's what you're consuming.
Yeah.
And that's just mind blowing. 40% is a massive chunk of media space.
That's a huge amount of space.
Yeah.
So no wonder it doesn't leave much time for everything else in the world.
Mhm.
For us to like find common ground on something that's positive when they still have to get through all of the other horrible things that are happening in the world.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think like the other aspect of it is like free thought. And I don't mean in the like freedom sense, but I mean free thought, like just general free thought and division.
yeah.
And I think sometimes we often, again, when we microcosm down,
Mm.
we think what we're doing, and I will approach this from like a positive standpoint. I think a lot of people believe, well, what they're doing is finding their community, right?
Yeah.
They're finding their people, which they are.
Yeah.
But by only finding your community, what you are subconsciously doing is creating division between altering communities.
Right.
And divided, we are not very strong,
No,
right?
that's it. Well,
Divided.
interesting, right?
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like divided, we are not, we lose what makes us human. We
Yeah.
lose our humanity to division.
Mm.
And I think
Who could possibly benefit from that? I
who could
wonder.
possibly benefit from that? Let
Hmm.
me know in the comments. Let us know in the
Yeah.
comments. I'm curious who
Yeah.
you think could benefit from that division. I have my own thoughts. I'm sure Sam does too.
Yes.
But I think it's really when you look at this divisiveness and you start to look at this, some of the greatest things I have in my life, I thought were ridiculous ideas when I heard about them.
Mm.
We'll talk about the way that I eat, and I won't get into that because that in itself is divisive. But I eat in a very specific manner. If you follow me on social media, you know what that is. And people find moral offense in that. And I understand that, but everything I do, I lead with love, right? So when I came across this way of eating, I thought it was ridiculous. Like, I thought it was the stupidest thing, but it's been like that with every fitness goal I've gone after. When I quit my corporate job to work for myself, in the beginning, I was like, these are really silly ideas. Like, what? But having an open mind to speak with people from a community I wasn't part of,
Right.
I was able to learn. And again, when you do something, let's say you take on like a 30-day challenge, it doesn't mean that that has to be your life.
A lifetime commitment.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that thing. Like, if you do a 30-day walking challenge and you hate it, You don't have to keep walking on day 31. You can stop. You
Yeah.
have free thought. And this
Yeah.
is what I'm saying about free thinking is like to create these environments, we need to understand that some of the greatest opportunities you have for growth come
Yes.
from learning from people who
Being
don't think
exposed to
like you.
different ideas.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Like,
Even if it's just a bit that you take, right? So you
yeah,
don't have
yeah.
to take the whole picture, but you just take something from that,
Mhm.
and that will never happen if you're not exposed to these ideas.
Yeah.
So
Like I think I said the other day, and this is certainly not my own comment, so I stole this quote from somebody, I don't remember who, but if you say you're open minded, but you are violently opposed, or you find personal offense or like immorality, or both of our favorite word,
triggered.
triggered, on you knew where I was going with that, and I love it. But by anybody who doesn't think, act, and feel like you,
Yeah.
you're not open minded.
No.
You're super closed minded. Like, open minded means having open, loving, kind, educated conversations
Yes.
with people who aren't like you.
Yeah. Saying triggered doesn't actually absolve you from
No,
having to have those
no,
conversations.
no. And you don't get to label everything
Yeah.
just because it is opposing to you, right? Like, that's not how it is.
Yeah.
And you know, like I had a laugh the other day. I made a comment online, a very innocent comment about sleeping with my phone in the other room. We talked about this on the last episode. And it ended up being somebody told me that I'm clearly a racist because like Mexican immigrants work in these plants, blah blah blah. And I laughed and I was like, my partner's Hispanic.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, that's just the most ridiculous
like
point to
it
try to
was just
make.
it was so ridiculous. But you
Mm.
just start to this why?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how me doing something that you don't do became so offensive that I became a racist.
Yeah.
Like, the way I interact with my cell phone, unless I'm using it for racial content,
Yeah.
has nothing to do with racism.
Yeah.
It's specifically why you would just pick Hispanics. I don't know.
Mm.
But that's the kind of divisive nature I'm talking about. And that's the kind of like closed mindedness. And I think, like I said in the beginning, it's when we trade community, we have to recognize that like you can lock in as hard as you want on social media, but like, how are you going to interact with your boss?
Yeah.
Like, what if your boss thinks differently than you?
So how do we fix that?
How do we fix that?
Mm.
Well, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think definitely spending time with people outside of your community
Mhm.
and being exposed, like you said, to other ideas. But if we can't get that from the news, what do we do? What do we do?
I think, well, so I saw an interesting post the other day, and a guy was saying he's like a relatively, like, he's a trad influencer. And
Okay.
so he was saying, like, if you're a man and you're looking for a trad partner, go to like a farmer's market.
Mm.
Go to like a place where somebody sells like eggs on the side of the road. Go to places where other people who might have similar shared viewpoints to you might be, and
Yeah.
speak to them in person. Don't try to go online and put this checklist of what you are and are not as a person. Like, don't diminish yourself to a checklist,
Yeah.
and go out and just talk to people. And maybe somebody does or doesn't think like you,
Yeah.
but maybe you make a new friend. Maybe you were telling me about this friend you've made on the bus
Yeah.
that in all hindsight, there's no reason you would be friends in real life,
It's true.
but this person has become a friend to you
Yeah.
because you talk to them on the bus
Yeah.
in real life.
And I think I'm a little bit biased, obviously, because obviously I am sober and I am in the recovery space and very much believe in that. But I do personally, and that's actually was true even before I stopped drinking and using, is having those interactions sober. So doing things that are actually getting in a community and getting out there when you're not under the influence of something.
Yeah.
Now, even if you're not sober, I totally understand that, you're allowed to have fun.
Sure.
But I do believe that the interactions are deeper, that it's more meaningful
Yeah.
when you have those moments in
Well,
a
you remember
clear-headed
them.
space. Yeah. When you remember them, when it's actually coming from you,
Yeah.
not just from you being under the influence.
Yeah, it's not
So,
liquid courage.
yeah, exactly. So I always believed that even when I did like to party.
Yeah.
So it's not something that's just because I'm sober, but I really do believe that that's when you're going to make the strongest and like realist connections. I don't know. What do you guys think? But
Well, I even think that the art of this type of conversation, right? And
yeah,
that's, I think, a big genuine reason why we've started this podcast and why we're putting this out to you guys is that we want people to be part of a community here
Yeah.
with us of all different thoughts,
Yeah.
feelings, and opinions. So maybe you need a coach. Maybe you are a coach. Maybe you're being coached.
Yeah.
Maybe you just have questions about some element of what coaching could bring to your life, but you're not ready to hire a coach.
Yeah.
And so here we want to make it like an open conversation where everybody can come in, everybody is welcome, everybody is to drop their thoughts and their feelings.
Please do. We love that.
Yeah, we love that. And we want to have future conversations about things that are of interest to other people. It's not just things that are of interest to me and you.
Yeah.
But trying to recreate where if people do feel safer online, because I think for some people it is a safer space.
Yeah.
I definitely have personally seen a rise of like introverted behavior versus that sort of extroverted, I'm going to talk to the person in the grocery store
Yeah.
feelings. But if you feel safer online, then try to pursue an online community that's a little bit more of a community
Yeah.
where somebody might disagree with you, but somebody else might agree with you.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there is like you can still have a community, but maybe just have a community that's a slightly more open.
Yeah.
And you're right, like when we're doing with the interviews,
Yeah.
we're getting people from like all walks of
Mhm.
life. We just did an interview with Ava, who's a soul
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
So you guys should go watch that next. Really cool point of view and really
Mhm.
interesting take on life and
Yeah.
just the things that you actually need to do to improve it. So,
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know, I find that very interesting. And I like working in the life coaching space. And I use that just for general interactions. And I'll give you an example. The other day, I like to try and find random opportunities to be kind in the internet space that I think can often not be kind.
mm,
So somebody had sent me a video of a woman doing her makeup, and it wasn't like the best makeup job, but it was clearly not
she tried.
she tried, right? It
Okay.
was like it was clearly not satire, it was somebody trying.
Yeah.
And there were hundreds, if not thousands, of mean, hurtful comments. And
Engagement is engagement.
yeah, engagement is engagement, and it will push your algorithm. But one girl commented, like, "Hey, diva, next time, like, line your lips first and then bring the lipstick to it. That'll create a better blend. But you're doing a really great job. Like, sending love to you. You look amazing."
You said that?
No, this girl wrote that.
Okay.
And so I wrote back to that girl and I was like, the internet needs more of you. Keep leading with kindness.
Yeah.
And so she privately messaged me and she was like, I actually have been having a really hard time this week. Thank you for just saying that to me. She's like, your comment made a difference for me. And I said, just like your comment probably made a difference for that woman. Right. And it's like, how long does it take to just be nice
Yeah.
to somebody? I don't know this person. She might be completely opposite to me.
Yeah.
She might have done some horrible things and that's why people were mean to her. I don't know. But she was obviously struggling and she still chose to say something kind to another person who clearly is not part of her community.
Yeah.
But she obviously came across this on her For You page. And instead of being one of the thousands that were mean, she chose to be nice. And I thought, how communal, right? Like,
So maybe it's baby steps, We just start by commenting on things that aren't necessarily your interest on Instagram.
I think
And
be
then we can
you.
move up to in-person interaction someday.
Be you. That's what I think. That's how we get back to whatever communal looks like in 2025, 2026, 2027.
Mm.
You have to be and find your authentic self.
Be you, be
you.
open.
Yeah. And you find you by trial and error.
Yeah.
By like, did I do this 30-day challenge of something?
Yeah.
And I know Nat, who we recently interviewed, Nat was doing 30 days of wearing every pair of shoes she owns or something like this. Right? Or like every jacket she owns.
I saw that.
Which is just like so funny, but a great opportunity to use all the clothes in your closet you never wear.
Yeah.
And a great conversation starter of like, why do you own these random cowboy boots or whatever, right? And so I think it's like, test things out.
Yeah.
That's always, and I know this is a big, maybe future episode of the like, how do I find out who I am?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, they are very lost. And this is sort of back to this brain rot summer is like, who are we now?
Yeah.
Who are we? did we let AI think for us so much that we've now lost the capacity for our own thoughts and feelings
Mm,
on things? Before we even get to the communal nature of it, it's like, how do I feel? Who
yeah.
am I?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who I bring to the table. Maybe I'm not that special or whatever.
You're
Like, well,
special.
I'm special, but I mean, that's I hear from people, right?
Yeah.
Is like some of my clients are often like, well, I kind of want this thing, but I don't know, and
Mm,
somebody else told me it was silly, so I'm not sure, and they get disjointed,
yeah.
and then they kind of end up being like swept up into maybe one thing. Like maybe they love fashion, and so they get swept into the fashion world,
Yeah.
but maybe they're like a really introverted person, and now the fashion world is very like toxic for them
Yeah.
mentally and emotionally because it's very fast paced and it's very extroverted and whatever.
Yeah.
So I think this return to self, right? Like when you go out in the world, whether that's virtual or in person, try to behave like your authentic self.
Yeah.
Does what you say feel good, that like you would lay your head down at night and say like, I authentically reacted to somebody like that today?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying you need to go on people's posts and find the kind person and send a kind, that's my thing. And like, I'll just talk to random people. Coming here, I saw two people struggling with the ticket machine in the metro, and I offered to help them. Like,
Mm,
because that feels authentic to me. I like
yeah.
helping people. Obviously, I'm a coach. I like to help
Mm,
people. But like, stop with the like falsified personalities that we're creating in gaming and through trends and like copying trends.
yeah.
Create, don't consume,
Yeah.
right? Like when you create an authentic version of you that looks, acts, feels, says, does authentically,
Yeah.
I think you can connect with other people more because you don't feel uncertain about what you bring.
Yeah. And just as your goals continue to evolve, so should everything else in your life.
Yeah,
And
100%.
the only way to do that is to be exposed to more, to continue to get yourself out there and to
Hmm.
continue to step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I think people look at it as this big, like, oh, I need to go skydiving, or, I need to do this big.
Skydiving's pretty fun.
Sam likes skydiving. I am scared of heights,
I used
but
to, but
I think Sam would skydive tomorrow if Sam got the opportunity.
maybe.
But you'd have to throw me out of that plane. But
That could be arranged.
I mean, you better strap me to you because I'm not doing it myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't do
I think it's very much like you don't have to do like scary things are growth, right? Scary things make change, but scary things can be small things. It
that.
doesn't have to be like, for one, if I'm talking to somebody and they say they struggle with meeting new people,
Yeah.
like just smile at a cashier today.
Yeah.
That's it.
Smile.
Just smile.
That's
smile. Smile at somebody.
Start with a smile.
Start with a smile. And if that was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this was crazy for me, that's okay.
Yeah.
Then next we can build up to a hello.
Yeah.
We can build up to a how are you?
Yeah.
We can build up to walking up to a stranger who does not have to interact with you because they're serving you at a cash.
And that's something a coach could help you with, right?
It is something a coach can help you with. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And I think in that's shared in both our spaces, right?
Absolutely.
Like in recovery and in life coaching.
Yeah.
I
There's
think
a lot of
that's
overlap in
shared,
all of the.
tons of overlap.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I see that between all of the coaches that we deal with
Yeah.
across the board, right?
Lots of overlap.
I think really the grand scheme of it all is like community or individualism, isolation or interaction, personal brand. All of those things come back to who are you?
Yeah. Who are you?
Who are you?
Tell us. Who
Tell
are
us.
you?
Let us know. We'll tell you. Well, we're trying to tell you who we are.
Yeah.
These are definitely our authentic selves.
Yeah.
Sam's going to throw me out of a plane. It's authentic.
Well, I think we've wrapped it up for that.
Yeah, I loved this episode. It was great.
Stay tuned for more episodes. We're going to be doing more. We're going to start putting it on the podcast platforms really soon.
Yep.
So we're just getting started.
Yeah, just getting started. We love that you're here with us. Thank you for watching. And if you want any ideas or topics discussed on future episodes, or if you have a question, drop it in the comments. Let us know. And we will gladly always follow up with all comments. And we would love to address a big topic, a hot topic.
Hot topics.
Maybe you could come up with the trend of 2025.
Yeah, seriously. What's happening? Tell us.
Wow, what's happening? What have we missed? Is it Jet 2 holiday? I don't know. And we'll follow up with you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.